Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment inquiry.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
Yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that.
The person that's dealt with some people in the industry, I can personally tell you, most of them are bullshit. Most of them got something going on and they're crazy, and they will have you. I'm talking about they'll have you crazy.
Yeah, you look professional, bro. You look real professional. Case, like Slim said, it's the beginning, man. We're gonna see more. It's gonna unfold, and
that mean I'm doing my job.
Hey. If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow. My bad.
New party. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Nora Christine. And today on the new party, Diddy. Is the diddler gonna go get diddled in prison for the next 10 to 50 years? This week, we anticipate a potential verdict by Friday or possibly by Monday at the latest. So we are into the nitty gritty. We're in the final hour. Today is the final day for the prosecution. Gray, what's your thoughts? Did the diddler do it?
If he goes down, can you imagine the freak offs in prison? That's gonna be some crazy freak offs in there.
Will Usher be invited? Will Justin Bieber get a call?
Hey, he did. I don't know. Whoever gets locked up, that's a celebrity. Go ahead and go with Diddy if he gets convicted. I think Diddy has a big chance in getting off. I may be wrong. I mean, I know in the court of public opinion, Diddy is basically guilty. But as far as the RICO charge, I'm going to say not guilty.
I will say, if I was a juror, I would convict him for the S trafficking and the P chart, the prostitution. But for the RICO, I would say not guilty. So I anticipate not guilty. You know this person?
No, I just said, how's it going? Talking about Diddy. Just keep going.
Okay. So guys, I got some exclusive for you. I got the sheets that the jurors are going to see this week. Let me share it. And then we can get into some gossip because I know people come for the gossip. This is what the jurors are going to be given. They're going to be given 5 counts. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Count 2, S trafficking of Cassie. Count 3, the Mann Act transportation of Cassie. Count 4, S trafficking of Jane, aka 50 Cent's baby mama. Count 5, Mann Act transportation. And so basically, they're asking for the racketeering. How do you find it? Not guilty? Was it proven? Not proven? So I just wanted to show you guys this so you guys can see what it looks like. Also, this is pretty much what it relates to. The man act is related to transportation with intent to commit prostitution. I definitely think he's guilty of all of those with Jane and with uh Cassie. What's up? What's your thoughts on that? Thanks, Dark, for coming.
I completely agree with you, especially the transportation for sex. Um,
Right.
because Diddy is a celebrity. Diddy does have to travel. Diddy does have to move around a lot. So I'm pretty sure when he was doing these freak offs, they want to move. So I mean,
Hmm.
the way that the law is said, crossing state lines, I mean, I guess it does make him guilty. So those things, I feel like it's gonna be hard for him to beat.
And these are the guns that they found in his home. I think what their intent in showing this was to show the level, like, because the whole racketeering is that he has a criminal enterprise. I personally don't think he's guilty of that though. And this is the baby oil and the lube that they had for him. This is a lot of baby oil. Need more oil. Look at this. Do you think he had stock in this stuff? Like the amount of Astroglide and lube. This is crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like in your average, monogamous relationships, people aren't going and getting lube. But if you watch porn, they use a lot of lubricant. They put a lot of oil and stuff. Like, I guess to make the scenes more, glossy and more. I don't know, to give it more pristine. In other words.
Right. The other thing I learned yesterday in the text messages, it was alluded that what Diddy would do is he would film Jane, because from what I gather, Jane was the only one he was doing these hotel nights with these escorts. He would film them, but he would have movie nights with the other girls, and they would watch Jane's videos.
Wow. So he basically wanted to make his own flicks and then go be with another chick and be like, this is a flick I did. Well, with serial killers, they like to revisit the crime scene. So maybe like he gets turned on remembering being in that moment, and that makes him turned on for that moment with that chick.
That's wild to me. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Jane. I mean, he really hated 50 Cent. For him to do all of that, that's what that tells me. Gray, as another man, what would be your thoughts on dating your enemy's chick? Do you think he hated her? Is that why the motivation?
As a black male, I love seeing that because we have a big problem with black men going to go shoot up each other every time we get in the slightest beef. So I do feel like we need to do things differently. Like if you want to go hit his ex and it doesn't turn violent and that's how you get back without it going to the streets, I agree with it. I seen Charleston White say this, go buy his mama a house. Go buy his mama a house and be like, yeah, I'll put your mama in a house. That's how I'm gonna do you. Like Rick Ross really gave 50 Cent son money and they had beef. So I prefer this rather than somebody getting deleted.
Wow. Gray said he prefers that rather than deletion. I honestly feel like it's pretty crazy that he went and took it that far. The other thing we learned for today is they went through a bunch of text messages. They went through text messages showing that, to me, that Jane was very complicit in this. Recapping the witnesses, who do you think was the most hurtful for the prosecution's case? Do you think it was Jane? What's your thoughts?
Hurtful for Diddy?
No, prosecution. We'll say Diddy's next.
The worst, I feel like for the prosecution, Punisher. Punisher, because just hearing him talk and hearing what he said outside, it seemed
about Cassie.
It seemed like everything was consensual.
And Flash what didn't take the stand, but Flash did say that he feels like Cassie wanted it. He was sleeping with her. He would know. Also today, guys, we saw more text messages. Jane wrote, "My place is free tonight. I got on my knees and thanks God for the health of my child and for your friendship." Do you think Jane helped or hurt the prosecution, or was she good for defense?
Both sides, because her stuff coming out saying she was the Michael Jordan of this makes it seem like it was consensual, but her saying, "Oh, I read Cassie's story and I felt like I was reading my biography," I think that hurt Diddy because it kind of shows like this is a character flaw, like you're abusing women.
So also today in the text messages, Diddy wrote to Jane, "I can't have KK know. Damn. What's the context here? It appears Mr. Combs is expressing concern about someone, possibly KK, finding out. Jane then coordinates a location for a hotel night." In the text messages, we saw some pushback from KK. So it seems like I'm curious what KK's role it really is in all of this, because it seems like she held him out of everybody the most accountable. In the text messages yesterday, um, he said, "Hey, can you text Young Miami and tell her I have a family emergency?" Because he didn't want to leave the freak off. Had to cancel plans with Young Miami because he wanted to stay where he was at. She was like, "I don't think you should lie. Just say something came up." What do you think about that? I mean, I've never heard another assistant talk to him in that way.
We don't know their relationship behind the scenes. I mean, with a lot of people who we look at as major criminal figures or scary figures or people to be feared, they have people they respect. And it's because, you don't know the intricacies of their relationships. But Diddy had some respect for her for whatever reason. We don't know, but I'm pretty sure since this case is, so public, we'll eventually find out.
Facts. Very good point. Very good point. Also, a lot of text. So basically, today was a boring day. All they're going over is the text messages to show the amount of use or involvement of his assistants in planning the flights and organizing the flights and cash apping and zelling money, different things like that. Because I think they're trying to drive home today the racketeering RICO charges, part of this. Jane texts Combs, "I love you and can't wait to see you." Then she adds, "Let's be positive. Remember how we turned it around at One Star?" He Combs replies, "You got chef," and Jane says, "No." So she was really emotionally attached to him. I do believe she loved him to some extent, but the question is, did Diddy love her? Gray, do you think Diddy loved any of these women?
I think it's probably like tears. Of course, his baby mama, I think, probably is at the top. Then probably Cassie, and then probably Jane. Because when you're interacting with each other and you're in a relationship, whatever that relationship may be, even if it's your side piece, it's gonna be little moments where you're like, okay, like, do I like this person? Am I falling in love with this person? That's gonna happen. So like a person can't control their emotions. So it's very possible he was in love with all three of them.
We've had those moments with side pieces.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hanging out, we having a great time. It's like, dang, I might cuff this one. Then it's like, oh, then I remember why she a side piece. So that happens with us. Happens with men, happens with women. But as people, you know, we put such a emphasis on monogamy. And I know on here we've talked about, group stuff and, polygamy, and like it's a big thing in our day and age because of the internet and social media and people being able to explore. Um,
Right.
so I feel like we can't necessarily say you only can love one person. So I feel like he could have loved many.
Facts, facts. I got a clip I want to share. Also, Gray, I got to tell you about this new trick I just learned. That was pretty cool. But side note, let me pull this clip up. Also, guys, just a heads up, while I'm pulling this up, we want to let you know that unfortunately us on TikTok, we've lost our TikTok page. TikTok doesn't like us. So Gray, when you have a moment, put your handle, because it sounds founder the new party. I would say put your TikTok. So we're just asking if you could support us on our TikTok. Nora Christine 26 is mine. Gray's gonna put his. We will be giving you content on TikTok there on our personal pages, rather than starting over. Maybe one day we will, but right now we're just gonna grow our pages. So send us a love, send us some support. Um, yeah, so that's Gray's. Mine is there. Mine is TikTok Nora Christine 26. So yeah, definitely give us some support. I really don't care about the TikTok. This is why I always said I didn't care about the TikTok. And it was almost like God was showing me TikTok wasn't gonna love us, so why care? So definitely give us some support on TikTok and X. We appreciate all your support. Great. Anything you want to add before I share the clip that I'm gonna play?
No, go ahead.
All right.
So, Rob Shooter, you wouldn't touch a pair of these with a 10-foot pole, right? Who knew about this fascination with the NBA greats? Now, I think I recall seeing Combs front line on the court at professional basketball games with various women. But who knew he wasn't watching the scoreboard? That's not what he was doing.
I think people around him knew that he had a fascination with powerful people. When I was working with him, he had a very unusual interest,
Shooter,
fascination.
what are you saying? What are you saying? We're not talking about Gandhi or the president. Famous people, private parts. Why are you saying he was obsessed with famous people? Because from what I understand, this is what he's interested in. A set of these. Thoughts?
I don't know if I have thoughts.
Yo, Nancy is shady. Did you catch that shade, Gray?
Was it boobs?
She showed balls. She was like, "Oh, he's into balls."
I thought she meant boobs. I didn't know that this was.
And then there's another clip with Nancy Grace and Tisa Tells. Can we talk about the amount of people that made millions off of this? Tisa Tells has made millions off of dragging Diddy.
Really?
Almost makes you wonder, did someone set her up for it? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. This is like, what's your thoughts out of everybody you've seen covering this, other than, of course, us? Who was your favorite?
I guess I had to say Armand Wiggins, because you got to meet him, and the clips that he put out was
He's my
definitely
favorite.
funny with what I watched. He's very animated. I didn't know who he was up until this case, but to speak on certain people, celebrities or public figures helping content creators grow. Trump is one of the big reasons the new party is monetized and on YouTube, because we follow his career and talked about him. So I don't know if Tisha Tells, was paid to be there, but I do know when a person sticks to, a certain niche and a certain topic and gives people the best information, a lot of people will follow them.
True. Speaking of Armand, I want to play this clip. He's hilarious. This is him talking about how the assistance helps with the freak off. So this is important. We got to watch this.
This is the 8-hour freak off, and this is the 36-hour freak off. Diddy would be talking to KK, and they played audio of Diddy calling her and saying what he needed and what he needed to be done. And, can you get this room set up? Can you get that done? And so they did a good job by showing how KK definitely is a co-conspirator. And this is definitely an enterprise, because Diddy put out the demand. She would then go and execute the demand between her and the lower people under her to facilitate the baby oil. It was one of the guys that was like, all right, I know the drill. So I go get the towels, I go get the how, I get everything set up, and I'm on my way to the store to grab the baby oil. Like, that was a part of the thing. You make sure you go pick up the baby oil. And then they was even talking about, he's going to be on some freaky tonight. So we got to set it up. He's going to be on a freaky wild boy tonight. Then I think there was at one point they were saying, well, how tore up is he? Is he Gucci bag tore up, or is he Louis bag tore up? And I'm not really sure what's the difference in each bag, but I'm assuming one got a little bit more oil than the other. Or one might be a full-on ketamine binge, and the other one might be like a Soma and Vicodin binge. But depending on what bag it is dependent upon how you need to come at that mother, because that determines the level of how fucked up he is. So Diddy had his whole thing. They was even able to understand what kind of character they were dealing with based upon what kind of handbag he had on his person at that time. I thought that was very interesting. How can you identify my personality today depending on the purse I'm carrying? Because okay, the Gucci bag got the good, and then the Louis bag got the real shit. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, the freak off, this might be an ass whooping over here too. You know what I'm saying? So you might get socked and popped. And so everybody had to be on guard and understand which version they were getting.
Oh my God. Gray, what's your thoughts? Also, you missed the funny story last week about the Lululemon. I might tell it again.
I need an assistant. You need to be just like KK. So all of KK's duties, look at that. Gray Mars looking for assistant. I think it's crazy that they knew that the Louis bag and the Gucci bag, which thing that was gonna cause what. I think that's crazy. I think that means that Diddy definitely had a problem. He was dealing with a sickness, an illness, and he needed to go to rehab.
True.
Like, if people know just based on your fashion that you're on a certain thing, that means that you were doing it way too much and you needed help.
Facts. I mean, I agree. I mean, so you missed the story Friday. His drug mule took the stand, who's really not really a drug mule, but anyways, he unfortunately got labeled that from when he was arrested. So coincidentally, he was arrested at the airport with Diddy at the time, Diddy KK. They actually posted a picture that I'm waiting for it to be released to the public, where they took a picture with him, KK, and Diddy on the flight when they raided the flight. Anyways, he got arrested because he had a baggie of coke on him. And when he testified, they were like, "Did Diddy ever fire you?" He was like, "Yeah. One time, Diddy, we flew from LA to Miami, and I forgot to pack his Lululemon fanny pack. And when I forgot to do that, he went off on me. He was like, 'You're incompetent. Just get out of my face. Like, just leave.' And he goes, 'I even went out and bought a Lululemon fanny pack to make him happy.' And I called KK, and KK was like, 'Oh, just stay out his way. He just mad.'" So Diddy would fire people on the daily. Can you imagine that? Like, "Get out of my face. You're fired." Like a Trump style firing on a daily
Yeah.
motherfucking basis. Like, that is crazy.
I was just about to say, who does that sound like? Trump. Um, of course,
Facts.
Diddy was firing people on the daily because, like, you're trying to run a business, but you are kind of running a criminal enterprise. You're not doing something crazy, but you're an abuser. It seems like so. I feel like he needs rehab more than jail. But like, as far as the employees, like, why did no one come forward other than Cash and say, "Hey, this is a hostile work environment. I'm filing a lawsuit." Like, I mean, I
He
don't.
was powerful. He was power. No, this is the thing. This is where I have to agree with the criminal enterprise. He was so powerful that you saw Capricorn Clark testified when she had grievances. Interscope scheduled a meeting. Interscope has nothing to do with his business and gave her a check to shut her up. He had powerful friends in all corners. These people look out for each other.
Yeah, but at the same time, okay, like, me and you have both worked at Walmart in the past, right? Walmart's a powerful organization. If they did something too crazy, I would have filed a lawsuit because I would have felt like I'm going to get paid. So I know Diddy is more street, so it's kind of like, okay, I don't really want to ruffle this person's feathers. But there was Diddy owns Revolt TV where they filmed the Breakfast Club at, and there was some white guys that sued Revolt. They ran a freaky fitty, right, exactly, kid. Exactly.
Facts.
So I mean, like, Diddy has been sued before, and Diddy was sued for using somebody's name in the UK. So I mean, he's been sued before. I understand what you guys are saying, but a lot of these people probably could have filed a class action lawsuit and everybody got paid.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's that simple, but I hear what you're saying. I think that it just shows how powerful he is and why they needed to why this case is important because he had so much power. Can you imagine how big his ego is going to be when he gets found if he gets found not guilty?
Yeah, true. But to what you were saying, like how much did Cassie make off of suing him? Crazy
20
amount, right?
million.
20 million
Yeah.
exactly. So she had the balls to do it. So she got the cash. I think if he walks out, he's gonna be confident, but I feel like his career is over. His public image is tarnished. He'll never be able to be in the music industry again. And he gonna be getting paid coming on podcasts telling his story. So I feel like even if he wins, his career is finished.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. His career is finished. It is so much going on right now. I mean, we're 2025 was the year of exposure. Tonight we're definitely going to talk about it on our show, but I'm curious how all of this is going to play out. But definitely, I don't even know what else is big going on. They said Tiana Taylor got some big lawsuit today. Did you hear about that?
No, for what?
I'm gonna read it to you because there's only so much we can say about Diddy from now on. I mean, we're grinding down, guys. And also, guys, we've decided that we are going to make this a daily thing. We call it Lunch with the New Party. Promos definitely will be coming out, but pretty much we will be switching gears at the end of this week. Obviously, we're not going to talk about Diddy 24/7, but uh, let's see. They said, I don't know. I thought I read that highlight somewhere. Never mind. They're really what's going on this week, entertainment wise. We're wrapping up the Diddy stuff.
Well,
The
I
only
got
big
some
thing that's
videos.
going, mm,
If you want, I got some videos for you. I got where I feel like Gene Deal, is being presented and was telling the truth because Diddy wanted Gene Deal to get beat up. Nora almost saw Gene Deal, but here.
Well, Gene Deal, who I've interviewed before, and I have said some of the stuff he says is true. Some of the stuff I feel has been made up. Were you there when Gene Deal was there?
No, I wasn't there when Gene. Gene was before me. Gene was in the Kim Porter, the Misa days.
Okay. But you guys have discussed Gene Deal.
Yeah.
How did those discussions go? Meaning you and Puff.
I mean, those discussions, it wasn't never just me and Puff. It was us and security, this, down, the other. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, man, y'all ain't seen Gene? And in reality, we did see Gene. We all from Harlem. But Puff wasn't running around Harlem like that. So me and Paulie and them would never tell him when we seen Gene. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, yo, if y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that. And we'd be like, all right.
Okay, so when was this? Because was Gene doing interviews at this point?
Yeah, we talking like 2008, 2009. Gene was spreading the word. You know, Gene was always bad mouthing Gene.
Wait, hold on. Vlad TV started in 2008, 2009. YouTube was really early.
No, he wasn't doing YouTube and stuff. He was going around talking a lot of shit. And we all from Harlem. So he was just talking a lot of shit. And it's a small, Harlem is small.
So what was Gene Deal saying during that time? What did you hear?
He basically was talking about Puff fighting women, hitting women, shit that was going on with him and Kim. Puff being gay, you know, shit with him and Usher and shit like that. He was talking the same shit that he's talking now on a major scale, but he was spreading it around Harlem.
Okay.
So it was basically a thing where, yo, if y'all see that nigga, man, I'm telling y'all better hear he got hands put on him, this, that, and the other. But we seen him, you know what I'm saying? But we still living in Harlem. He's not living in Harlem. We still living there. So we're bumping to him. You know, we're bumping to him at the bank. It was a couple of times we bumped into him in the street, this, that.
How you feel about Gene Deal doing this against Diddy since 2008 and the fact that Diddy put a hit out for him to get beat up?
I feel like Gene Deal gives me Jaguar Wright vibes. If y'all want to talk about Jaguar and say she's not always telling the truth, I'm not going to say that Gene's not telling the truth, but I feel like he has an agenda. His agenda is to get Diddy guilty at all costs, even if it means that these charges are bogus and the federal government has overinflated these charges. And I got a problem with him for that because, bro, this is bigger than you and your little beef with Diddy. What the feds are doing to Diddy is, to me, is criminal. It's fraud. It's doing another organization's bidding. He fell out with these liquor people. They must be connected with somebody in the feds, and now they're going after Diddy. And I don't think that's right.
Yeah, and Gene was also another person trying to say that Diddy had something to do with Biggie getting deleted, and he also, if
Yeah.
you don't know who Gene Deal is, he was kind of around with Jaguar Wright. They were the big two people to really bust this story open prior to Cassie even coming out. They were out making media rounds exposing Diddy, and then the Cassie video came out.
Facts. I agree. Is there more for the clip?
I have something else. So, like we've said before, Diddy had a hatred for Tupac. And so, like, this is just to show how much Diddy hated Tupac.
When you was around Diddy, did y'all ever have an interaction about Pac? Because I interviewed a few people that told me that, you know, Diddy don't like when somebody mention Pac name around him or play his music. So
Of course. And you jogged my memory. Thank you for the question. 2003, we were at the Source Awards. And I linked up with Crooked Eye. And me and Crooked Eye were reasoning. Crooked Eye has a death row chain on, and I'm, of course, active member from the Bad Boy family. Myself and Crooked Eye, we reasoned and we said, yo, we should do a tune together. And we should call it the Bad Boy Death Row Collab. And I'm like, you know what? That would be fire. At this time, Sugar's in jail. I tell Crooked Eye, you know that the row want to sign me. He was like, what? So what's happened? I'm like, I'm at the Source Awards with you, with the band. What do you mean what happened? He's like, oh, okay, I dig it. So you currently Bad Boy, but you were going to come to the row? I said, yeah. Pause. I said, all right, cool. We move forward. I go out to LA. Me and Crooked Eye, we did the song. It's called the Bad Boy Death Row Collab. This is the first time in history that an active member from Death Row and an active member at Bad Boy during those times teamed up to do a collaboration, a song together. Inspired by Tupac. I remember sitting in Tupac's vehicles and all of that at that time. And Sway, shout out to Sway. Sway mixed the record. We went to Sway's house, big up to Sway, and Sway mixed down the record. Sway said, this is going to be a problem. He said, Crooked Eye and Dylon on the song Death Row and Bad Boy. He said, you know it's going to be a problem. Cool. I go back to New York. And that time we were at the Tonight video shoot for the band. And we in the tour bus getting ready. And the Bad Boy family, Sean's family and them approached me and said, what up, Trader? And I'm like, Trader? They're like, yeah, we heard that you out there in LA. All I know is that they killed my man. And we don't f with that and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already see what side you on. We don't play Tupac over here. We don't rock with none of that. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that. None of that. You betrayed the fam. I said, how the f I betrayed the fam when I rep Bad Boy on a tune with Death Row? What are you talking about? I said, y'all need to evolve. Go suck your mother. Big beef in the tour bus, war of words. It's a tongue twister. And we went back. And if you notice, when I got off the bus, the directors is there, there's big speakers, and they got the whole big red, gold, and green for me to wear. And I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy. I remember just saying like, yo, this is corny. This whole setup is corny. We as Grenadian people don't go so bright. Or them mother cunt. We don't do that. I don't like none of this. This is corny. They don't like me for this. You know what? Give me another reason I'm going to death row. I played Tupac so much. I remember even Babs telling me, Babs, do you remember when you cussed me at like, yo, you like Tupac? We Bad Boy. You can't be playing no Tupac. Like everyone was against that, you know, and me and Chopper were the ones that played Pac the most just because, like, yeah, respect to Machiavelli the Don, yo, for real. Because if hip hop was a scripture book, that would be Black Jesus. That would be Black Jesus. If hip hop was a scripture book, you know, it's not. So don't y'all gonna I already see it. He's talking about Jesus now. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So Diddy, he was the one calling you a traitor over Pac.
Yeah, that wasn't he wasn't a fan of that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. You know what I mean? I see it both ways. Yeah, rightfully so. But hell no, he wasn't feeling that. And me as a man, I don't follow people, just like I didn't follow then. I was bad boy listening to more Tupac than anybody. I'm not here to follow the fashion and follow the norm. I think that's what people are doing. You know what's happening too? It's kind of like, you know when you don't like somebody, you could be in a relationship with somebody or like classmate, you at work and you don't like them. Now every little thing they do piss you off. Now you're just nitpicking all of a sudden. Now y'all find anything like they can find footage of Diddy walking in the room and say, "Look, he walking into the freak off." It's like no matter what, they're going to find something. Like Diddy could take a piece of paper and put it in the garbage and say, "Yep, that's the condoms from Punishers in that, and that's why they threw it out because It's what happens when you don't like somebody, you know. That's a heavy don't like somebody that's happening on his side. And again, karma don't hide. You know what I mean? Karma doesn't.
That's the part I wanted you to hear. That karma doesn't hide. Do you feel like this is karma for Diddy? You know the allegations with Tupac, and do you feel like that's Dylon? And if people don't know who Dylon is, he was in Making a Band, and Dave Chappelle made a skit about him saying Dylon's the best rapper, and it went viral. But Dylon's career went nowhere. So, Nora, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like them being mad at about Tupac makes Diddy not be considered the leading Biggie? And do you feel like, you know, his hate for Tupac, do you feel like it was warranted? You're muted.
Yeah, no, I agree. These are all valid points. I do think it's a little bit of karma, definitely. I do think that he's a evil person. I don't think he's a victim, but I think that they overreached. Um, that's what I struggle with. They overreached in this.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying that as far as the case that Diddy's fighting now. But yeah, I mean, Diddy's been around since the 90s. And I feel like all these stories coming out against him, like what he said, like Diddy could put down a piece of paper and they gonna say, "Oh, that's from Punisher with the condoms." Like I feel like that's what's happened now, and that's someone who Diddy actually did something to, who has a big reason to be mad at Diddy, and he's saying that.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right. You're right. That's a very valid point. That was a great clip. I forgot about Dylon. He was my favorite. Um, but he is so grown now. It's almost like he was using Dylon to give back for what he did to Shine. He also did Shine so dirty, guys. I don't believe Shine was guilty. I believe Diddy was guilty of that.
I think Diddy was guilty too, and I heard people say, "How do you feel about Diddy giving Shine 50,000? He went to prison for him, and then him giving like Cassie like I think 400,000 or something."
Well, he gave her 20 million, but yeah.
But I'm talking about prior. Prior, I think it was like 500,000, but they saying that he gave Shine went to prison for him, and he only got 50.
Damn. That's crazy. Oh man. Well, what we gonna talk about tonight, Gray? Let's let everybody know about tonight's show.
We're gonna be talking about sleeper cells in the U.S. You know, with everything that's happening in Iran, we're basically wondering what's gonna happen here. The FBI is now on high alert in the U.S. Just so you guys know, at major populated places because the alert has went up since the war has started. So the question is, are there sleeper cells here? And a lot of people on the right are saying that people crossed it through the border when Joe Biden was in office, and now are
Right.
waiting to attack on behalf of Iran.
Facts. Also, I have a clip of Lord Loomer eating dog food, literally. That's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, I'm going to hold both sides accountable. We're going to talk about the people on the left and the Democrats that said, oh, it would have been better under Kamala. But also, we're going to talk about the propagandists. We got a lot of people in MAGA, part of the right, that are propagandists. We're going to call it out tonight because the reality is, if you're telling us that we should be worried about sleeper cells, then we should be alert and focused. Then you gotta have a balance. You can't tell us to not worry and call us panicans, but then tell us to worry. So definitely gonna have a nice, good, balanced conversation. They were both wait, put it on the screen again. They were both guilty, but Diddy's chickens are coming home to roost. I think that's what it is. I think the Diddy trial is a distraction for World War III that has started. It's been started. Distractions. You are right, and we're going to hold everybody accountable. We are living in an age of disinformation, to me now more than ever, because this is all of our safety and our soldiers' safety. And we're going to definitely put the facts out tonight, have a good, balanced conversation. And we don't believe in debates. We're a panel, so we're going to give both sides a chance to speak. Last night, if you missed last night's show, you missed a great conversation. I suggest you go back and rewatch it. We had an old head and a young head that went at it. It was nice seeing both generations of African American men having a good conversation. Mixed it with Enzo. Enzo was there too, so it was great to have that conversation. But yeah, but I mean, it was a nice. It was we had as young as 20s, as old as 75 years old last night on our conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And we're trying to bring you guys the best content. We're trying to get you guys the most best content creators out there, and we hold people accountable and make sure we get you guys the right information. So definitely keep tuning in with us. We're gonna be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern time with the new party show.
Yeah, come back to watch Laura Loomer eat dog food tonight. That's going to be the best clip ever.
And if you're watching, hit subscribe and that notification bell.
So yes, 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So come back tonight. God bless. Have a good day, and hopefully we'll have a verdict